If you're planning on listing your home for sale, here are some things that you never want to tell your real estate agent. The first thing that you don't want to tell your real estate agent is that you already know what your house is worth. This is something that the real estate agent really needs to come up with on their own. If they're going to sell your home, you want them to look at the comparable sold homes. You want them to do the research and the market analysis to understand your home and the homes in your area and how much those homes are being sold for. When you tell the real estate agent how much you believe the home is worth, very often the listing agent or that real estate agent is just going to tell you what you want to hear. Unfortunately, this is the strategy for many listing agents. Not all agents are going to do this, but it is a common strategy to get that contract, to get that agreement with you, the seller, to be able to sell your home. If the listing agent can just say, oh yeah, we can sell your home for that amount, and then they can address the pricing concerns after they have an agreement with you, after they have a signed contract, it's certainly going to hurt your ability to sell your home if you're not pricing your home appropriately. But also this is something that we see many listing agents try to do. And so you don't necessarily want to tell that listing agent how much you think the value of your home is. What's up, y'all? My name is Victor with Home Sale Hacks, and we make videos every week about how to sell your own home. The second thing that you don't want to tell a real estate agent is just get me a specific dollar amount. I don't care how. This kind of approach with a listing agent is gonna potentially create some awkwardness between you and the agent, and pressuring an agent to get an unrealistic number could mean that they're using a pricing strategy that is not appropriate for your home. Or maybe they are over promising again just to get that agreement. So again, when you're telling a real estate agent, this is the number that I want for the sale of my home, that real estate agent may only be fixated on that number and not fixated on marketing the home appropriately and getting the home sold and getting enough buyers into the home for showings. And so this approach with listing agents can be kind of tricky. The next one on the list that you don't want to tell a real estate agent is that you need to sell fast no matter what. This is a red flag to a real estate agent that says, oh, this person is willing to sell for anything. And so the real estate agent is just going to see dollar signs when you tell them, I need to sell super quickly. Not only is this going to tell that real estate agent that you're desperate, but it also means that they can keep the price of the home a bit lower than maybe the actual value of your home is. So taking that approach is certainly not going to maximize the value of your home. In addition to that, this also really hurts your ability to negotiate with that listing agent. You want to make sure that that listing agent is getting max value for the home, and when you tell them that you need to sell super quickly, it kind of tells the real estate agent that you really don't have much negotiating power. You need to sell the home, and so it tells the agent that you're not willing to be patient to get the max value of the home, which is often what it takes to get the appropriate price for a home. The next thing that you don't want to tell a real estate agent is that you really need an offer. Any offer will work. And so this again signals to your real estate agent that you're desperate. And so this can kind of lead to the real estate agent maybe making some moves that are not favorable for you, the home seller. In many MLSs, there is a section that doesn't necessarily get onto Zillow, and so the general public can't see this typically, and there's a private notes section from realtor to realtor. And it's not uncommon for a realtor to put in that private notes that the seller is super motivated. This is a common phrase that many real estate agents will use. It essentially means that this seller is desperate for an offer. So when your listing agent knows that you're super desperate for a home, they can put all kinds of things in that private notes section, and they can signal to buyer's agents how desperate you are to sell the home, which obviously in turn is not going to get you max price for the home. And so all of these things so far that we've talked about really have kind of a general theme, is that you don't want to signal to your listing agent that you are desperate for an offer or that you need to sell very quickly this approach with your listing agent will inevitably hurt you in the long run. Another common one that we see is, this is my bottom dollar. We don't want to tell the real estate agent, even the one that you are working with, what your bottom dollar is, because it doesn't necessarily need to be that the home price of the home is your bottom dollar. Your listing agent should be fighting to get you more than your bottom dollar, but if the listing agent knows what that bottom dollar is, it could be that they maybe aren't marketing the home as well as they should to get the appropriate price for your home. In fact, if you're thinking about selling your home or talking to a real estate agent about selling your home, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. I'm a local realtor and I'm happy to help you even with selling your own home, even if you just have a question about the process. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. But one of the biggest phrases that listing agents will often hear from their clients is that the seller doesn't want to make any repairs to the home before they even list the home. They don't know if the home inspection is going to come up with anything or not, but the seller will often be like, I'm not making any repairs. And so this is not a good approach at all. What you are sort of saying here is that you're wanting to sell the home as is. Now, don't get me on a soapbox. As is means two different things. It means a different thing. What I'm referring to here is that the sellers sometimes want to sell their home and not make any repairs during the contract period. You do not need to tell your listing agent this before you list the home. You can make that decision when you get a home inspection or a repair request from buyers. When you get that repair request from buyers, you can just say, no, I'm not making any of those repairs. But of course, if you have already told your listing agent that you're not making any repairs, and maybe the buyer is only requesting some minor repair, hey, there's a doorknob here that we want replaced. Now you've already told your listing agent that you're not replacing a simple doorknob. So obviously you don't want to take that approach. You want to keep that option open to be making repairs. But if you do get a repair request that you don't want to do, then you can let your listing agent know that you're not making repairs. Side note, this is not really a good housing market to do that because it is more of a buyer's market than it is a seller's market, but you certainly have the ability, you certainly have the option to not make repairs on a home when a buyer does a home inspection. And then another one that you don't want to tell an agent when you are maybe meeting with agents or interviewing agents, you don't want to tell them anything along the lines of you not wanting to sign any documents or you not wanting to agree to any contracts yet. You don't want to necessarily give that real estate agent the impression that you are interviewing other agents. While this is totally normal and totally acceptable, you might not want to give the listing agent that understanding because again, they could just tell you what you want to hear instead of telling you a hard truth that you need to hear or something that maybe is unpopular. And so when that listing agent gets the idea that you are just interviewing other agents or that you're just here to talk about something ambiguous but you're not really willing to sign anything, that real estate agent may give you like watered down advice. So what you really want is to get concrete advice from that real estate agent. Of course, it is certainly possible to sell your own home without a real estate agent. And while this may be kind of difficult, we certainly think that it's possible. Here at Home Sale Hacks, we make videos every week about how to sell your own home without a real estate agent. In fact, we made an entire video outlining the process of selling your own home without an agent. You can check out that video here. I'll see you in the next one.